Hello, and welcome to Paulcasts. This is the somewhat random attempt at a podcast that I do on my Twitch channel occasionally, with the goal of hearing from all sorts of people within the dance community. So with that, let's jump into this one. This one features Elaine, Stefan, Andrew, and Kelly on a topic of sustainable practice and partnership. And just a heads up, this podcast was recorded nearly 2 years ago, and these sweet summer children, including myself on there, we had no idea what was ahead of us as far as COVID goes. So that's kind of something to giggle at while we watch, but I hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comments what you think of the podcast and who else I should have as a guest. Thanks. Okay, we are live, so don't give out any social security numbers.
86753. Oh shoot! Ah.
I look like pasty white today. I don't know why. I mean, I am pretty pasty, but
got some good lights.
yeah. So,
you're shiny.
I am.
They're shiny.
I've been like lighting solutions for this studio. I have gone like back and forth, and like I think what I'm gonna end up doing is putting like LED light strips just along the roof, just to blast everything with even light. But,
yeah.
From above.
Yeah.
Are you doing another 24-hour thing at some point, Paul?
Yeah, it's planned for June. I assume that coronavirus stuff will be done by then. I don't know.
Done, quote unquote done.
So I haven't even announced it because I'm like I don't know what's going ahead. For this year though, I wanna ask Jonathan Stout if they would be able to do like a very, very small group type thing, and we're doing it at Nadia's house.
Oh, cool!
So
Yorbalinda.
Yeah, it'll be down in accessible area.
We don't have to drive 3 hours to get to you.
Yeah. So I live about an hour and a half away from most of the dancing in LA or Orange County.
Is it a smaller town?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that would be nice during the apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
Their Costco's aren't like a hellhole of people.
Yeah. Are your grocery stores bad already?
No. I think because it's so much less dense. Like it's bad, but it's not like bad.
Yeah.
How are your Applebee's and Chili's?
I couldn't tell you.
The true heart of the city's
the true measure of
the barometer of social panic is how full is your Chili's.
Let's see here. What do we got viewership going on? We got 6 people tuned in already. We could probably start in another. Let's do another 2 minutes. So we start right at 12:15.
You should have a cool countdown, Paul.
I should.
Like Ninja.
I should. If I made as much as Ninja, I would pay someone to make a
He has
countdown.
blue hair. Maybe you should dye your hair blue. Like whatever remains on your body.
True.
Oh, is he a streamer?
He's a streamer.
What is he streaming?
Fortnite.
Yeah. He's
more popular than Lindy Hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
True.
Laura wanted me to put a dab in one of our routines at some point. Yeah.
Have you seen the little GIF guy? It's like the guy in just little whitey tighties, like an avatar from Fortnite and different dance moves. There's one where he does a Charleston that looks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Do you know the drunken dance? I can't remember the dancer's name. He does it to Take 5.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Somebody actually reached out to him because his dance is in Fortnite now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
And then I don't know where they took the Charleston one from, but
I think he does like almost the whole shim sham. He does like a little.
Really?
Yeah, and he's naked. It's really.
Oh, in underwear.
Yeah,
he's in underwear.
He's in underwear.
Whitey tighties, yeah.
I need to watch this video.
I'll send it to you.
Or maybe I don't. I don't know.
I'll make an Instagram story just with that little guy.
Thank you.
Oh, Melissa.
Tag me and then I can repost it. I'm like, here you go. Here's the strict scoop from the people that are confined to their homes in Seattle.
Yeah, this is how we solo jazz now in our underwear.
That'd be a global project. Global underwear solo jazz.
Yes.
Maybe you could get like an underwear sponsorship.
That might need more money.
Yeah, me and these put on a podcast somewhere.
Melissa says, "Oh, I could get an intro for cheap from someone on Fiverr." That's true. Yeah. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Dances for 30% off.
And then we have Real Chaos Dude. Thanks for the follow. Okay, it is it's 12:16 according to my my Fitbit. Speaking of my Fitbit, I scheduled a practice with Nadia this week, and I was an hour late because my Fitbit did not sync.
What?
Like I was checking time with my watch.
We time changed over a week ago.
I know it never updated. So that happened. Okay, cool. Well, let's get started here. Why don't we first go from? I know you guys. I don't know how you see each other lined up on your screen, but we'll start with Seattle and then go to Orange County. Start with just like a brief introduction of who you are and how long you've been dancing. Some of your and even your dance partnership.
Whoa,
Service.
that service.
Wow.
Sponsored by Six Beans.
Hi, Hunter.
Hi, Hunter.
She's still working, so that hasn't shut down yet. So, but yeah, Elaine and Stefan, why don't you go ahead and
What were the questions?
Just like a little introduction of like who you are, how long you've been dancing, actually, and how you met your dance partner. I guess we can add that too.
How we met?
Yeah. Okay. I can start. I'm Elaine. I've been dancing some form or another since I was 3. I did ballet for 15 years. And then I did some ballroom, and I've been dancing Lindy Hop very obsessively for about 5 years. And we're on quarantine in Seattle.
And we're quarantined in Seattle.
Yeah, I'm Stefan. I've been doing various partner dances since I was a teenager, like maybe when I was 14. And then I got into Lindy Hop in college. So for me, it's been 9 years, maybe 9 years.
Wow, okay.
And then how we met.
Yeah, he moved from New York to Seattle and joined a dance team I was on at the time. It was run by Ben White. Then we met and started dating and dancing all at the same time.
Yeah, we started dating first for maybe 3 months, and then we started dancing together after that.
Yeah, he trained me up. I didn't know anything. I was only dancing in bars and to live music. Yeah, I knew nothing in the academic sense.
So it'll by the way, chat and viewers, we will have like a little bit of a compare and contrast because these two are dating and these two are definitely not.
Even though they dress the same.
Even though they dress, they call each other like, "Hey, what are you wearing?"
No, we did not plan this. We did not plan this.
That's just how in sync they are. So, Andrew Kelly, go ahead. Why don't you give a little introduction?
Okay. So I'm Kelly. Like Elaine, I've also been dancing since I was young. I did ballet for 10 years. And then I found Lindy Hop like Stefan in college. So I've been Lindy Hopping now for 8 years. And then I met Andrew.
Yeah.
Cool. And then how long have the two partnerships been going on?
Andrew's got to introduce himself.
I haven't introduced
Andrew, I'm sorry.
Wow.
He's gonna make me run more laps on SDS now.
I mean, that was always going to happen. So, So my name is Andrew. I had no dance experience prior to Lindy Hop, really, unless you count like elementary school learning line dances in the Philippines, because that was a thing. I started in college too, actually, at UC Irvine. Did you start at UCI?
No, I started at Atomic.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I started at a university. I didn't go social dancing for a very long time, like almost a year and a half before I started going social dancing. For one, I didn't know about it, and also I was scared of it. But so that was in 08, 09. And then yeah.
Jack Chen introduced us.
Yes, that was around 2012, I think, or 2013.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while. Yeah.
We met at Downtown Disney. Jack literally pulled me off the dance floor and went, "You need to meet my friend Andrew Jose." Okay, Kelly, this is Andrew.
There was a picture of that night, and I couldn't find it. I was trying to look for it, but yeah, we met at Downtown, and Jack introduced us. So.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what was everybody's kind of like intro into the dance? As far as like how did you discover it?
Do you want the same order?
Yeah, I can do same better.
Okay.
I responded to a Craigslist ad to teach at an Arthur Murray style ballroom school where they're like, no experience required. So I did that.
Wow, that's
which was a trip. And the type of dances they teach, like none of them are real. Like it's all just, Arthur Murray just standardized a bunch of stuff that he stole. So I discovered Lindy Hop because they told us to research all of the dances. So I was like, all right, East Coast swing. And I was like, oh, that's not a real dance. Lindy Hop is a real dance. So then I went out to the Century Ballroom and danced a little bit and was like, this is very different. Then I kind of uprooted my life and moved to New Orleans for a little while and just danced in bars and listened to jazz.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'd listened to jazz music since I was like in junior high, before I was doing indie dancing. And then like my friends, so I grew up in Salt Lake City, and people in Salt Lake City really like to dance. So my friends and I would go do some social dances of various types. And we would do like ballroom stuff, East Coast swing, country swing, that kind of thing. And then in college, one of my friends like introduced me to the Lindy Hop University Club, and it's like and it just made sense because I was listening to music for a long time already, and like I really want to dance, so it just made sense to do that one,
Cool. Huh.
I was in college with sort of nothing to do, and my roommate was also a dancer. She knew that I had dance experience and said, hey, me and a bunch of my friends got a group on to go and take a Lindy Hop lesson, or she didn't call it Lindy Hop, to take a swing dance lesson at Atomic Ballroom. So like 15 of us went. We took beginner class with Christo, stayed until the birthday dance, and then left. And then the following week, we had gotten a package for 5 classes. So we did that first lesson, and then the following week, I was the only one.
Wow.
So I just sort of hung around until James and Irina were like, you've been in our classes a few times. What is your name? And then they introduced me to a bunch of people. I eventually met Jack Chen, who was really the sort of catalyst of me meeting everybody else in Orange County.
Okay.
He introduced me to Andrew. He introduced me to pretty much everybody on the Fly Rights team. And then Irina introduced me to Natalia, introduced me to Augie. It was just sort of like a avalanche of people. So
Right. Okay.
So I got integrated.
Cool.
You gonna forget about me again, Paul?
No, I was waiting patiently.
I appreciate it. So my senior year of college, I got this idea in my head that I wanted to partner dance because, for one, my mom is a very, very good dancer.
His mother is a great dancer.
Yeah. She does ballroom.
Elvie's a great dancer.
Yeah, her name is Elvira, Elvie for short. But she partner dances. She does line dances. Lately, her thing has been traditional Filipino dances. Like they have a group. They go to a ballroom, kind of like us, and they get together and they choreograph these dance routines. And lately, their thing has been traditional Filipino dances. But anyway, I'm like, oh, I want to dance with my mom, and maybe meet some people. So. But you see, Irvine, they used to offer, they probably still do. At the rec center, they have dance classes of all sorts. At the actual university, you could take like a social dance class, and it was a pass, no pass class. So I'm like, okay, I took both. The person at the rec center that I learned from, he goes to Atomic Ballroom, and he introduced me to the idea of social dance. So that's kind of how I got into it. But like I said, I was afraid of it, so I resisted going. I just went to class, and until I felt confident enough. And even then, when I first went to Atomic, I stayed until the end because I found that I really loved the music, and I really loved just being there and watching everyone dance. But I only danced with the person I came with. I was afraid of asking people to dance.
I can't imagine staying till the end of like being a new dancer and being like one of the last people to leave. That's cool.
It was fun. Like I just really there was something about it. But as far as I know, I think the most I was really around jazz growing up was just like from the music my grandma would play, like a lot of Frank Sinatra and stuff like that. I didn't know what swing dancing was at all until I came here, until I saw it in person.
Cool. How old were you when you moved to US?
I was 13. That was in 2003.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, now we've got introductions taken care of. Let's kind of jump into the topic because I'm sure we can nerd out about different parts of this topic for a while. So I guess first let's talk about how you met as partners and kind of why you partnered up. Ready, go. You want to start with Seattle again?
Yeah, first.
Yeah. So how did we meet and why we became partners?
Mm-hmm.
So we already said that we met on the dance team, and then we started dating. And then we were actually asked to teach some classes at the studio that we teach now at.
Okay.
And so we've been there almost for the entire length of our relationship, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, we were doing a trade at first to take free Argentine tango lessons. And they were like, oh, you dance Lindy Hop. Do you want to teach? And we're like, we probably shouldn't be, but want free lessons, so we're going to do it.
Yeah. And so then because we were teaching, I had a lot more Lindy Hop experience. So I had to basically bring Lainey up to speed on stuff, at least for beginner classes. And we kind of developed our shared technique.
Yeah, I'd never taken a class before. Like I didn't know what that world was.
Yeah. So we developed our teaching technique, but also our Lindy Hop technique and philosophies through teaching. And that was very efficient. So we just danced together from then on.
Okay, so it was actually born out of teaching, not like competing or anything else.
That's right.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever been to a major Lindy Hop event outside of like the dances at Camp Jitterbug once at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
On the flip side, so like we said, Jack Chen introduced us. Andrew actually, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew approached me.
I don't remember, so I'm not going to correct you.
I don't know. Well, okay. I feel like Andrew approached me and said, hey, would you be interested in competing with me at Camp Hollywood? And this is after I had been doing Lindy Hop for about a year. And I had zero idea what that meant. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like, what's Camp Hollywood? So he had to tell me about the event and sort of how the competitions worked. And basically, it pretty much just ended up being an opportunity to train and practice with somebody consistently. So that's why we did it. And then, that's how it started. And then we did our first Camp Hollywood where I fell.
This is
Oh my
successful.
gosh, I don't know. I don't think I've seen any
You know
footage of that or
story?
anything. No.
Maybe we'll get to it later.
No, they didn't air the footage,
No.
which I really appreciate because it's not pretty.
But you can tell that something happened because if you go back and watch the footage,
I'm not
good. Yeah, like we were first out, and there's people like cheering very loudly for some reason. Like, oh, why are they? And then like Kelly's just like a little flustered, and
Yeah.
I think I'm comforted.
You guys were in the finals?
Yeah, at the amateur.
Their first
Right.
year.
First competition, 1 year dancing.
Nice.
Finals. Nice.
And
Yeah.
and I mean, up until then, like Kelly was a newer dancer, but and I really was as well because I didn't really start going to Camp Hollywood until 2010.
Mhm.
So I had been dancing 2 years, just not social dancing, taking classes, quote unquote classes, not very good classes. Because back then they still taught 6 count and 8 count separately for one thing. And I could not triple step. Like I literally could not triple step. There are videos.
Still can't.
I will put it on the Discord. There are videos of me dancing at Atomic from 08, 09 with people that you know, Paul, actually. And
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. That's
some of those habits just never got unlearned, to be honest. So, but anyway,
That's funny.
I guess I was a little more, what do you call it? Quote unquote seasoned,
Experience.
experienced, but not really.
But I mean, so we had the first competition experience, and it was a little traumatizing, just a little bit. But it was also overall a positive one. And so after that, Andrew asked, "Do you want to do it again?" And I said, "Sure." So, and that's sort of how everything's been going since. We check in with each other, go, "Do you want to do it again?" And then, as long as both of us say yes, we just keep doing it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so on that, I do want to kind of talk about, because I get this question all the time, like working with both Iwana and Laura or whoever else I'm working with. Like, how do you have any suggestions for finding a partner if somebody's interested in that sort of thing?
We find that a lot of people, like the sticking point for them with finding a partner is they want someone who's the same level as them, whatever that means. Usually your perception of your own level is off anyway.
It's probably inflated, right? Like that's how most people are. We always have a larger sense of what we can do than we actually can.
Yeah, so I would say like I was not a super desirable partner when I started working with Stefan. I was like that person on the dance floor that would clear space because I was dancing so crazy, and I thought that was like positive.
Like, look, everyone's looking at me.
Yeah. So like people get too hung up on finding someone of their level, but really what you want is someone who's committed.
Mhm.
And if you're looking to travel and compete, someone who has the resources to do that.
Yeah.
So you need commitment, resources, and then you need just general personality compatibility. But in terms of dance skill, that's something that can change. You know, so
Very
it's not worth going down that route, in my opinion.
Just to touch on that too, resources. What do you mean by resources?
Like being able to travel.
Okay.
For competitions, if that's your goal. If it's just to get better, that doesn't matter. But if you're looking to travel, then you kind of need.
Yeah, there's
money.
people in Seattle who like want to fly to every single event and compete, and they have a hard time finding a partner just because of straight up resources. Like not many people can afford that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. When Andrew initially asked me to be his partner, like I said, I had zero idea of what that meant. And so I actually went and asked a couple people who I trusted, who were Sam Chan and Ben Yao.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben actually gave me some of the best advice ever. And he said, you should really only compete with someone who has the same goals. Or no, he said you should really only partner with somebody who has the same goal as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like Stefan said, like your dance level can change. That's something you can take action on. But if both of you are working towards a different goal, that's not going to work out well at all. So I think as long as both of you are clear on what you're working towards and what you want, then that's probably a better bet than, say, finding someone at your same dance level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have too much to add to what everyone else already said, but I will say, I mean, Kelly and I found the floor, and that's something that I think was really nice, is getting to know someone socially as a person, because you will spend a lot of time with your potential partner, and if you don't like each other and if you don't get along, it's not going to work, right? It's a relationship first, and like what you do on the floor is it's almost secondary. So like, yeah, align your goals, try to align with each other, like, so, but actually physically finding a partner, I think we lucked into it in some respects. And like, I don't think I never quote unquote pursued a partner. Like, I never was hunting for a partner. If I didn't meet Kelly, I don't know if I had a regular partner, because the years before that, it was just, the contests to me were just whatever. I didn't really care. And to some extent, I still don't care. I just wanted fun people to dance with. And like the year before I competed with Kelly, I competed with Adalia, and we made finals too. And I would have loved to regularly partner with Adalia, but she lived in Vegas at the time, so it just wasn't realistic. So once I met Kelly, things made sense. So it was a good idea to maintain that relationship, but I don't necessarily want to force things. Like I could have continued to pursue the partnership with Adalia because we were quote unquote successful, right? We made finals and we should make something out of it. At the same time, it didn't make any sense. So why?
Yeah.
But with Kelly, it does make sense.
So we talked. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to add something. So I was hunting for a partner at the time because I was trying to travel more and do more competition stuff and whatnot. But if I had fixated on skill level, me and Elaine never would have become partners.
I was also broke at the time, so I couldn't travel either. I'm not a partner.
So like if I had written her off because she was less experienced in Lindy Hop, we would not have this right now, right? Yeah. And it just took a year to like get up to speed, really. And then once a year passed, we were at approximately the same level because she's amazing. And then from there, we started just building this together.
Yeah. Well, with Laura, when I first asked her to partner, it was not a skill based thing. Like, it was like I see how hard you're working, and I want to like align myself with those types of people. And we joke about it. Like, I created a monster. Like, she's like a rocket. She's a monster.
She's so good.
Respect.
Yeah. Both you and Laura have gotten quite good over the past year.
Thank you.
It's been really awesome watching.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love seeing that.
So we've talked a little bit about aligning, or Lorita Zilla says chat. Oh, and hi Sam, by the way. Sam Chan's watching now. So you've already been mentioned once, Sam. So we've talked a little bit about aligning your goals, and then maintaining the partnership. I kind of want to talk a little bit about, do you have like partnership meetings at all? Do you sit down and talk about new goals, or like I know Kelly and Andrew, you talked about, well, do you want to do this comp? And so it just keeps kind of extending it out. I want to talk about that a little bit, and just and not that the approaches are the same at all, like just your approach to it.
Yeah,
because I have a different. I think I have a different perspective on how these usually turn out. Let's see. As far as specific, like checking in on each other, we usually do it. So we'll do it before the comp, obviously, as in like deciding whether to compete at all. Period. And usually, actually, right after the comp, there's a lot of, like, as all of you know, there's a lot of feelings that happen during, and then the direct aftermath of competing is just a lot. So we check in on each other, like, hey, are you okay? Was that good for you? Like, are you still happy with this? And, it's not all, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's whatever. But
Like, do you guys go out and get a coffee and talk about it, or is it just during a practice, or?
We'll probably find a corner in the ballroom and just kind of talk right away.
Oh, okay. You're talking about like immediately before and after.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the time we do, because I mean, it's already happened, right? You can't change it. And I think both me and Kelly, I think we kind of just need to get the feelings out right away. We're kind of that kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's, as far as checking in on each other, we just always do it, I think. Because especially if I'm vibing on Kelly that, where are you at? Like, well, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling about doing this or doing that? Like, I can kind of tell, and I'm sure she can too with me. So it's just nice to, I always feel like I can go to Kelly and just check in with her and just see where she's at. That way I know what she would like to do with me. Mm-hmm. And that way I can also, but that's the thing, because what I want to do doesn't always necessarily align with what she wants to do. And I don't want to drag her along for something that she's not 100% invested in, or even like 50% invested in. If it's something she doesn't want to do, why ask her, why I'm not going to make her do it.
Well, I would say an example of that.
So,
example of that would be the team, right? Like, you're very, very much invested in that, and Kelly, you're kind of a helper sometimes.
I was on the team for all of about 5 seconds.
She helps out.
Yeah, I went to one practice and we sort of like Andrew said, I felt the vibe and was just like, this isn't what I want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, on that note, I think Andrew and I have created a pretty open channel of communication. So I don't even know that, well, I mean, we do it at practices, we do it when we're together, during the comp, before the comp, during the event, after the event. But in general, if one of us has something on our mind, we'll just message each other and we'll just talk it out.
Okay.
Because I think a great example is actually Inspiration Weekend. Andrew asked me, he always asks me first, which I really, really appreciate. I was the first person he asked, do you want to do a 30-second showcase? And I said, sure. But again, that's not 100%. But I said, sure. And then not long after that, he was like, let's try and put some songs together. So we did that, scheduled a practice. That practice didn't work out. Andrew goes, I have an idea. I'm going to work it out with Laura. I want to do it with Laura. And I went, okay, great. And then not long after that, he said, Calvin asked me if I want to do it. And I said, cool. So he literally went off and choreographed both of those showcases and then came back to me and said, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to work with you. I'm going to give you my 100%. And I said, never mind. I just said, never mind. Because I was like, you went full gusto into both of those things. Those were things that you wanted. And I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I appreciate that he asked me first. And then when I communicate to him, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. It's okay, cool. Whatever.
Yeah, like it's just like we don't take things personally.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's ever really happened. I don't think in regards to the partnership, at least, like we don't take things personally.
Yeah. The planning is, do you want to? Yes or no?
Let's go from there.
Okay, go.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. What about you two, Stefan? Do you prefer Lainey, real quick?
I don't care. I do
okay.
Elaine at work, but outside of that, I don't need to use any legal names.
Okay.
So how do we check in and keep our goals aligned? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well, we're dating, so
kind of have to do that regularly.
Yeah. So we talk about everything all the time, whether it's dance related or not.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, our dancing partnership communication is very open.
Mm-hmm.
Just like our regular relationship is.
We do schedule out okay, we have this event coming up. We want to do X, categories at this event. Let's schedule our practices for the week so we can meet those goals in a non-stressful way. We try to prepare ahead of time. But the biggest thing that we have to work on, I just had a surgery 6 months ago in my hip, and I've been out. And so we had to communicate a lot about all right, I'm ready to practice this. Let's walk through things and then progressing from there.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely had to communicate and wait for each other to be ready to do things.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's
And
good.
yeah, something that we've been doing recently more as well is talking about what our dance values are as a couple, as individuals,
Yeah.
and as a couple. And like seeing if we agree with our individual values. You know, they can be different and it's okay. But if we're going to put something out on the floor as a partnership, we kind of need to have similar-ish values.
Yeah, compromise at least.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's been a discussion we've been having, somewhat. Like for example, we decided to only do improvised spotlights, and we both agreed on it. And then our practices revolve around that when we practice for competition. You know?
Gotcha.
Also,
okay.
This year, after the surgery, we're only watching vintage clips and using those for inspiration and to find moves.
Oh,
So that's
interesting.
we made as a partnership to try to
Be a little
develop
more
a more individual aesthetic instead of just going with like whatever the general European trend is at the moment.
right, and that's a value discussion. So we
Yeah.
agree on values, set goals to express those values, and we just kind of do this whenever something happens, something changes. I think of something, she thinks of something, we just talk about it
I
immediately.
watch Spirit Moves and I'm like, we got to do it like them.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, just because of the actually, we've already had it in chat talking about relationships and partnership and that sort of thing, and navigating that. I did like what you guys told me when we were at Inspiration, or I think Lainey told me. But if you can kind of just touch on that a little bit, and because I think that's actually, I don't know. I think there's just two thoughts on that, two different theories. Like, no, I would never, or of course. So
we kind of discussed like how to deal with emotions during practice. Like, dance is a very physical art form, so therefore it's really vulnerable. So it's like, oh, this isn't going well. You can be interpreted as like, my body is my. So we try to check those emotions at the door and like work on it in a non-emotional way. I don't know how to say that better. Maybe Stefan does.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think we have a pretty healthy relationship overall, and so we have very open communication. We tell each other how we feel all the time, and that just bleeds into our dance practicing. And like I feel like dance practicing is quite trivial relative to actual relationship things, like where we're gonna live, who's gonna wash the dog, like you know, like actual real things. So like if we can't do a trivial thing, how can we do more major things? You know? So it's just kind of we use the singles, apply it to every aspect.
Like on that note, we don't stake our identity in swing dance or like how we do in swing dance or like if we're popular or anything. I think if you bring that to the table, it becomes really charged.
It gets a lot harder then if you have too much identity in it.
Yeah, like if we're feeling grumpy, we'll be like, oh, let's go get sushi or like watch a documentary on sharks or something instead of escalating each other about swing dancing.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Because I think all four of you have mentioned that like not caring is actually better about. How do you find yourself like caring, and then like what do you do? I mean, you just said watch a documentary on sharks or go out to eat or something, but is there any like thought process behind that? Like dial it back and just like not care.
I mean, I think you have to be adaptable, right? Because you like, I'll cite an example. Like Kelly and I will plan to rehearse. We're not always what you would say productive. Like, I mean, because if we don't feel like dancing right away when we meet up for practice, I'm okay with that. Like, we'll just chill and talk, and then when we feel like dancing, we'll dance, and not being too rigid about what you're doing and what you think you should be doing. To sure, I think an important aspect of it. Do we set out specifically to, hey, let's spend non-dance time together. I think it just kind of happens. It ends up that part of it ends up just happening. But we also and spending the dance time together also just happens because we both just like it so much. Like when we're just chilling, I mean, we end up talking about swing dancing, like either like stuff we want to do or stuff we see in other people or like whatever drama is happening in the scene at that moment. But that's the thing is like, I feel like it will always come back to the dance anyway. So I don't think setting aside time for not dancing, I think will kind of just happens.
Right. Okay.
I think in terms of not caring, like I think it's really easy to get caught up in whatever is going on, right? The competition, whoever's popular, who do people like, that sort of thing. But inevitably we're all there to just dance and have a good time. And I think sometimes you just have to remind yourself of that. Like early on, Andrew and I were competing and not doing as well as we wanted to do in the competition, right? And it was actually outside of the placements. We were just looking at the videos and going, I don't like
this, yeah.
Right? And what we sort of had to come to terms with is, we're really privileged and lucky to be able to travel to places and compete there. So, maybe here in this moment, this isn't our best moment, but we're here in New York, we're here in Seattle, we went to New Orleans, like we're in these great places with these really nice people, we're getting to dance with all these people. I think sometimes you just have to remember all the good things that are still going on outside of just whatever's really bothering you at that moment. I think you just have to kind of take a minute and be like,
and outside of coronavirus time.
But I will add though, no touchy, no touchy. I will say our experience is also not typical because while not caring, we have achieved a lot of success in competition results, and I know people care about that.
Yeah.
So it's sure, someone can look at us and say, yeah, it's good for you guys to not care, or it's easy for you guys to not care because you've won everything that you want or whatever. At the same time, think about the comps that you have won or the whatever finals you've made, and how long does that actually make you genuinely happy? Like it's a very fleeting. I will say it's a very fleeting thing for me personally, because any moments. Let's say I won a comp, but I wasn't happy with how I danced necessarily. I am not going to be super happy about that for very long because I'm still the dancer I was before the comp. I'm still the dancer I was after the comp, before awards, after awards.
It's just now it's on YouTube forever.
And it's on YouTube forever.
People can
if your ultimate goal is to win, sure, maybe there's a level where getting the podium is enough.
But that's not sustainable.
Yeah. I don't think that'll keep you happy in the long term. You're right. But
if actually on the YouTube thing, real quick, I was talking with, I don't think she'd mind me sharing, Grace Bavis, and she's like, honestly, I don't care about trophies. I just care about my YouTube videos. It's like, jeez.
Honestly.
I mean, who remembers who won, right?
Right.
No one remembers who won the thing. What matters is that in the video, you show what you want to show. And, if people like it, great. If they don't, then whatever. But as long as you're expressing your values, then that's what matters because that's what lasts. But like a trophy, like who cares, like that, it's extremely fleeting.
Maybe it matters more if you're trying to make a living off of it, but we're not.
Right.
We're not.
The circumstances are different.
But like,
Yeah, it's interesting. I just from my personal, I started to get just a little inkling of like, oh man, I never get trophies at Inspiration Weekend, and then
you got it.
And then that last the last one, I was all just that was really cool.
I mean, I don't think people mind if I shared this as well. Like Mateo Menino had a lot of injury problems going like early this year, partly because he was tossing around a gigantic inflatable beach ball at one point with Kelly and the others. Anyway,
12 feet tall. It was really fun.
it is what it is. But so going into Hot Rhythm Holiday and Inspiration Weekend, he literally spoke the words, "Oh, well, I guess this isn't the year I'm gonna place at the 30-second showcase at Inspiration Weekend." And boom, there you go. He got third place. And I looked at him. I'm like, look at you. Look at what happened.
Look at what happened.
And then, so going back to what you were saying, like not caring, I think this is a very vague way of putting this, but you have to want it without wanting it.
Well, you have to want something more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to want something more than just placing.
Yeah.
Because like if all you care about is placing, then you'll only work to the degree that it gets you there. But in order to place, you actually have to like be genuinely good, right? And in order to get genuinely good, you have to do it for the love of it.
And also, it's like a lot of people who compete know each other and are friends. And so it's really exciting when your friends do well or one up you or like succeed in their goals.
Yeah.
If you're like mad when that happens, like that doesn't speak super well to your personality. So I really try to avoid that.
Yeah, because what you'll end up with these psychological pitfalls where like if you do it for the love of it, then you're gonna practice more sustainably. If you do it for the trophy, it's probably not gonna be sustainable practice, and then you're gonna get into these really negative downward spiral trains of thoughts, telling yourself that you suck and stuff like that, and then you just don't practice.
Develop frenemies.
You know,
frenemies. But that's the thing. I think we attach so much of ourselves, so much of our value as people to our dance results, to whatever, where that's not necessarily the case. Like Lainey said, like dancing is such a personal thing. Like it's our bodies. We're putting ourselves out there on the floor. So we extend that to, I feel like I'm a bad person because I didn't do this comp, or I suck as a dancer. I'm like, well, no, that's not true. It's a moment.
Yeah.
And it's a snapshot of your dancing life. And sure, you didn't do as well at this moment, but that doesn't say anything about who you were and who you can be. So, but it's hard to get there. I will say that it's hard to get there. And I still struggle with that occasionally because we all have our moments.
Yeah, for sure. Shifting gears real quick, I want to answer a few questions from chat. Number one, Dogs and Dancing says, "Bring the pup on camera."
She has been Matt. We call her Kill Matt. Just like around with and digs on. We've been intermittently taking her away from that because she's really.
There she is. And then we'll go through a few comments really quick. Earlier, one of our Swedish viewers said, "Wait, did I hear that right? That was did she just say whatever the European trend is?"
Well,
yeah. I think a lot of us watch European competitions, or that was just one example. It could be U.S. competitions. I think it's really easy to like fall into the trap of wanting to copy what pros are doing, where pros are actually getting their inspiration from the source material and then riffing off of that. So I think it's a better method to also go from the source material and riff off of that instead of trying to copy like whoever's popular and whatever they're doing.
What she meant by European trend is Remy.
I think there's a lot of like really popular European dancers right now.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, and just scroll through the rest of this here. Oh, and that Dogs and Dancing is Ellie, by the way. If you're curious.
Ellie Blair.
I mean, you're dancing, Ellie, because now you're European.
Ellie is the European trend.
Oh, here comes Andrew's dog. Michael Corrigan.
Kelly Micah from North Carolina says hi.
Hi, Micah. Thanks for joining.
By the way, chat, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like, I want this to be more kind of an AMA type of thing. So if you have questions or even just like questions about their specific partnerships, throw them out. With that said, let's start talking a little bit about. Oh, I'm hearing myself really bad. A little bit about practices in general. How do you approach practices? Andrew and Kelly just said that they usually start with hanging out for an hour before.
Well,
Yeah.
Why? Not.
are we talking like specifically like how our practices usually go?
Yeah, I'm just like sustainable practice as far as like I know that in my partnerships sometimes we've run into practices that are not quite as productive. And it was interesting you said earlier that like those are okay too. And I'm like, oh, just thoughts on practicing in general.
I think it's really, what do you call it? It's really harsh on yourself to expect that that all your output will be perfect 100% of the time. Like, and that goes into practicing as well. I don't think that's, what do you call it? Healthy to think that you'll go in and like, it's gold every single time you practice. But we don't go in thinking that we're gonna suck. If it happens, then
Sometimes we just suck.
sometimes we just suck. That's just how it is. But we don't go into like it's being okay that we sucked at that time. I think it's part of it. And also, we don't always suck. So thank you. Like
Just sometimes.
Kelly.
I think so. Usually, what'll happen these days, like in the last couple years or so, what's generally happened is Andrew or I will schedule a practice, and then beforehand we'll ask each other, "What do you want to work on?"
Yeah.
Right. So whether that be, "Hey, I found a clip. I really want to try this move, or see if we can create something off of this move," or I think I told him a couple weeks ago, like my triple steps feel super like light and lifted. I'm wondering, I feel like I need to be more grounded. Can we just dance a bunch and you can tell me like how I'm feeling and we can give each other feedback? So it's usually one of us has something that we want to work on. If it works out, great. Sometimes, like Andrew said, we have a goal and that goal doesn't get met. And I think part of the message that Andrew's trying to communicate is if you set the goal, it's more important that you set the goal than if you actually get there, right? Because at the very least, you put it out there, this is what I want. And maybe you don't get there at this practice or the next, but as long as you put that out there for yourself, then that's more important than actually being like, I did it,
And like Kelly said, since we've had a long partnership, it's changed. How we rehearse changed over the years. Like we used to, like for our Strictly outs, we used to choreograph a lot. Like we would choreograph like the 8/8s or whatever. But so we would get together and try to come up with a sequence. And recently, it's just, let's just work on our social dancing. Let's just do it. Let's just social dance. And like the stuff we did in Inspiration, that was all social, because that's literally what we were practicing the last couple months. We weren't even social dancing, fast dancing. It was just like social dance, really slow and mid-tempo. It was, I guess in retrospect, that was kind of like us coming back together again as a partnership, because we also get in these modes where we don't practice. I'll focus on the team a lot, especially during the latter half of the year. I don't have as much time for Kelly, and Kelly will be doing her own thing. But then I always find that whenever we reconnect, the partnership is stronger in different aspects, sometimes in ways we don't expect.
Okay.
So we'll train on our own and then we'll come.
Oh, I think you cut out. Are you guys?
Oh.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
Stefan?
Okay.
Yeah, so probably one of the things we focus on the most is dancing really fast. So we find if we can dance all of our stuff really fast, then mid-tempo is very easy. So like for Inspiration, we didn't have much time because I just started being able to fast dance successfully in New Charleston within the past like month or so. So we tried dancing like 260. And we trained everything super fast so that 240 would feel slow. That's one of our like tried and true methods. It's just dance faster than we can consistently.
Okay.
Yeah. And we rely a lot on video feedback. So like we basically try to keep our feedback loop very tight. And of course, this also depends on what you're working on. So like, for example, for inspiration, because we were going to improvise everything, we were working on phrasing, you know, dancing fast and phrasing. So we set up our laptop, we film stuff, and then when we see something that we don't like, then we work on it. We work on that specific thing, and we film it as well to make sure that it feels good and also looks good.
Okay, real quick, you guys.
Yeah.
For you two specifically, make sure you talk clear and slow because you guys are cutting out a little bit more than Andrew.
Okay.
Like Stefan, I'm getting you pretty good, but Lainey, you cutting out just a little bit more because you're a little more soft spoken. So
true. Been hearing that my whole life.
So okay, sorry, didn't mean to derail. Continue.
Yeah, no worries. So like we'll film something like a chorus of dancing, and we'll use the same song as well so that we keep variables constant. And then something I worked on, like we were swing outs a little funky leading up to inspiration. Yeah. So we would work on just swing outs and film it, and then we would tweak things and film it. And then I think a step that's often neglected is synthesizing it. So after you work on it, you have to then reintegrate it back into your dancing. Mm-hmm. So at that point, we would do like maybe a full song a couple times working on that one thing. And then we'd go back to the original film and then find something we don't like and repeat the process. Mm-hmm. And then once we get through that, we'll do another session and we'll just film it again.
It's very productive. It's nice to fix things and then like 10 minutes later, see that it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've never thought about going back and just picking different things from the one video. That's super efficient.
Yeah.
So
I think we definitely started filming our whole rehearsal too. Just the whole thing. And like sometimes we go back to it, sometimes we don't. But like I think it's a good idea to have it.
Yeah.
To kind of to look at it again. Because sometimes we definitely were much more haphazard about rehearsing like in past years. And now we kind of still are at the same time. We kind of know, the thing is, Kelly and I have been dancing together enough that we know what we need to do to get ourselves there.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably be more structured about it too. And in some aspects, for the swing out specifically, we do a speed test. We do a swing out speed test, and we used to do this way more. We stole it from Randy and Kara.
Yeah.
What they would do is they would have a playlist of songs starting from 150 up until whatever 300, and we would just do like 8/8 swing outs, 16/8 swing outs, 16/8 rest, 16/8 swing outs again to every song, and that's how we trained our fast dancing back in the day.
You just go up tempo each, like do that, and then up every time.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm. Great cardio. Cool. Yeah. Those 16/8s get shorter and shorter.
Yeah, they do.
Heaving on the side.
But that's the thing. We're not. If you go back to our old videos, let's say 2015 Inspiration Weekend against Ben and Ariel, we were exhausted.
Oh my god, I thought I was gonna die.
But that was 5 years ago, and now it's nothing. Well, and also this year the tempo felt slower at Inspiration. I don't know if it was just me.
Okay, the finals was way slower than the prelims, I think, for the battle.
Always thinks things are slow. Always. Last time he said, "Oh, that's kind of fast" with Camp Hollywood.
It was pretty fast.
That was fast, but there have been fast things since.
But it was slower this year. That's all I'm saying. Is like I think we can actually. The longer you dance together, you have stuff to look back on and say, "Oh yeah, we were kind of doing better back then," or whatever. Like we're doing better than we were.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and like Andrew said, like that, even that practice evolved because we started out with the speed test just doing swing outs, and that eventually integrated into our dancing sequences in general. Yeah. Let's just practice dancing fast in general.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. real quick before I forget, this is a great question. As a member of a fairly new partnership, I often struggle with identifying what I want to work on. Is there a starting point you use when you are unsure of what you want to focus on?
Oh, I just film ourselves, and then I'm like, dear God, I have a laundry list.
Film yourself, see what you don't like, and improve it.
If you can't tell, watch a video like one of the vintage clips or like some modern competition that's a level above you, and look at yourself compared to them, maybe in a swing out from a couple different couples, and see what's different. So like we'll watch the highest level at ILHC during the all skate when they're all swinging out and see what's the same across the board and if we're doing that or not.
Okay.
Every swing out's a little bit different, but there's some things that hold, like don't let your shoulder out of the socket.
Yeah, and if you really hit a wall, if you watch yourself and you don't know what to work on, even then I think then a private lesson makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have something for this actually, because we trained this with Joe Hofberg.
Mm-hmm.
Was do you remember one of the very first homework she gave us was like training your eye, like because it's when you watch sometimes it's hard to articulate specifically what you like and what you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So she had us train that. So it was she said, okay, it's hard to start, or typically it's harder to watch yourself. So this is what you need to do. Look for videos of Strictly's. She gave us specific events to look at
and specific
levels of contest.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it. Watch all the couples. For each couple, give me 3 things you like and 3 things you did not like. At the end, and then the all skate. Give me the 3 couples that you watched the most. Place or judge the comp. Give me your top 3 placement. And then after you've done that, let's compare who actually won and what the actual results were, and let's compare my as in Joe's comments on the same contest. So it was for me it was nice to kind of see what he was looking at, and it helped me be very intentional about watching people compete and watching what people do and asking myself, what did I like and why did I like that? Because then now I can apply that to watching myself.
So I wonder if this whole discussion is more about maybe you need to go and figure out what your own dance values are.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then apply them to yourself, right? So it's like Lainey and Stefan and Andrew just said, you can film yourself, once you figure out what your dance values are by maybe watching videos of other people dancing and critiquing them and seeing what you like and don't like. Once you figure out what your dance values are, then you can go and apply them to your own dance. Right?
I do feel like
what it looks like.
It's kind of funny. I was at ILHC maybe 2 years ago, and I was standing with Blake and Nick Williams as they were talking about their dance values and stuff. And at the time, it actually kind of blew my mind because I was still so focused on like just getting my core like basics together, like getting like I feel like for me at least there was a while where it was like I need my standardized stuff that I can hold on to before even thinking about dance values. And for me now I'm just now getting to the point where I'm like thinking about those values, within this last year. So I would say for people, don't freak out if you've never thought about that. Like I think that's definitely an advanced level dancer thing where it's like you start to think about those things. If you're like in the refining and honing stage, that's totally fine too.
Yeah, I'd say another way to develop your eye is to also watch competitions that are a level lower than you, and then ask yourself, what can this couple do to improve? Right, that's a way to also develop your eye, both up and below you.
Mm-hmm.
I find that, this not to digress, but especially let's say ILHC, there's a lot of value in watching quote unquote lower level comps. There's a lot of really interesting ideas that people do in the bigger comps that maybe get missed because not as many people watch them. But at LHC this past year, I watched every single open classic. I was in the ballroom watched like 30 routines.
I'll be honest, like watching or having to do the live streaming, I'm at every competition now. So I get to see a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. And just don't make it happen. Like if let's say you're not opinionated yet, it'll just come.
Yeah.
It'll come over time. But you need to watch it.
Where they watch like YouTube videos nonstop of Lindy Hop. Like I feel like everyone needs that year.
That's Blake. What Blake does.
Except Blake only watches. So.
Yeah, that's true. He's very curious about it.
It's funny how different people approach it too. Because I'll just I have a playlist of just dance videos, and I'll just skip through them, whatever. It's not organized at all. Ioana has this I'll have to have her show it sometime. She has this Google Doc of every video, and then the seconds of the seconds marked of a favorite move that she wants to do, and it's this huge in-depth document of videos. It's awesome.
That's good. Now Joe had me do that when I was choreographing my pro-am with her. And when we were looking for inspiration on how to choreograph, she had me find routines that I like things from, and not specifically moves necessarily, but even just a feeling. Not even just routines. Find showcases you like and give me a couple moments that you like about them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's valuable to have that to go back, especially if you're like me and you're very scatterbrained. Notes are very valuable.
Real Chaos Dude says, awesome response, guys. Thanks. So,
thanks, Real Chaos Dude.
Let's talk about this. Just we'll start to at least head towards wrapping it up. The time,
we're gonna wrap.
Not yet, but time really does fly, huh? When you're talking about this stuff. Let's see. What are you? This is almost like the dating game partner edition. Because answers could be different. What are you most proud of within your partnership? Whether it's a competition or a value or.
Proud of.
I think I'm most proud of being able to dance at every tempo with intention. I really, really love slow dancing. And we spent a lot of time working on that, almost the same amount of time as fast. Yeah. That's something that matters a lot to me because I started with live music in bars in New Orleans, and it's pretty much only fast and slow.
I think I'm most proud of our dance connection. So being able to go fast and slow and being able to do a bunch of different things purely on technique and connection. I'm pretty proud of that. Just, I don't know. I do it and then it happens. because we're so, our technique and connection is just so in sync. I love that. We can be so exhaustive. Yeah, I don't know. It's awesome. It's awesome feeling.
Cool. Yeah. What about you guys?
You can go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
You might have to go first.
Okay.
Thinking.
I think one is that it just came to mind. Dancing wise, I have a lot that I'm proud of, but I'm proud that we have been able to maintain a healthy friendship, regardless, and the partnership came along with that. We were friends first, and it was great, and this is how one of the ways we maintain our friendship, and I think we've had a pretty drama-free partnership, and we end up meeting our goals most of the time. And no, you know what? No, we meet our goals pretty much all of the time. Good, and I'm very happy with that because it's a healthy part of my life, and it's not something that I make myself do, and it's not, you know what I mean? It's stress-free maintaining this partnership, and I'm really proud because I don't think everyone has the same experience.
Yeah. I mean, I would backpack on Andrew's response about the relationship because he's definitely one of my best friends and one of the longest friendships I've pretty much ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, making finals at Camp Hollywood was a really good moment. And it was literally the moment where we made finals in Open Lindy. It wasn't even necessarily like that competition.
It was on the phone.
Because I blanked out during that competition, by the way.
Because we were going to go to
I don't remember.
I was going to CPK.
We were in separate lists going to dinner. And Andrew called me, and I went, "Why are you calling me? Like, I'm gonna see you in like 5 minutes." And he called me, and he goes, "Kelly, we made finals." And I was like, "What did we compete in?" I forget. It was like the only one we did together this year. Like Open Lindy. I was like, "You're shitting me. There's no way." But I mean, that was a really proud moment for me because
that was a goal. That was a specific goal.
Yeah, I made a Facebook post about it. But when we started working with Jo Hopper, she told us pick a goal. And I joked about it. I joked and said, make finals in Open Lindy at Camp Hollywood. And she said with full sincerity, cool, that'll take you a couple years. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And literally like 2 years, almost to the day, we made finals.
She didn't, what do you call it? She gave us like a very clear path too. It was nice. Like, it wasn't like unreasonable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, no, that'll never happen. Like, she's like, okay, here's what you're up against. Here's what you can do to beat them.
Yeah.
Here's what you can do to make it there.
But it was more the idea that we had set out this goal,
and it actually
we had put in the work, and that we had actually attained what we set out to do, right? It definitely gave me a sense of, okay, we're doing something, we're being productive, and we're actively like working towards things, right? As opposed to just, why are we meeting each other every week? Why are we, are we just hanging out for fun? Like, it was nice to be able to set that goal and see it through. And
at the same time, it was nice because it wasn't like, okay, every practice, this is Open Lindy training. Yeah. It was literally, let's just do our thing.
We're like, let's level up.
Yeah.
To get to that.
Yeah. So that was, it's nice. I think that's one way to kind of bring us back to what makes a partnership sustainable is that don't stress out too much about it. just do your thing and enjoy yourself along the way. And it sounds really cheesy, like, oh, it's the real partnership was the friends we made along the way. But
no, it's
true, but it's kind of true.
It's absolutely true. Like, that's like both Ioana and Laura, they're like my sisters now. Like, they're 100% like part of my family. So
yeah,
it's like,
Andrew's family.
Yeah.
He went to Boston on a work trip. My parents happened to be there. They met up.
I saw her family.
That's awesome.
They met my wife for the first time.
He sent a picture.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, her mom texts me.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great thing, and just how finding it through this dang vintage partner dance. It's it's really insane.
And ultimately, if Lindy Hop were to fall apart, right? If for some reason like COVID wipes Lindy Hop off the face of the earth, Andrew and I would still be friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this relationship that we built,
So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Ellie asks, it could be cool to do a Europe versus America comparison thing. Are you talking about a separate podcast, Ellie, or do you want them to?
We could go a whole 2 hours.
I know. I was like, or did you want just their brief like thoughts on it, or is that a podcast that we're gonna do with you as a guest? I missed this in my notes, and I think it is worth at least mentioning, just talking about it just a little bit. We wanted to talk about collaborating on choreography.
Oh yeah,
and just kind of navigating that a little bit. Do we want to take a few minutes to talk about that?
Yeah.
If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah. So we do the usual thing of like map a song, talk about the general vision. I usually have a goal of pushing myself beyond my ability with the choreography. Like, it's faster than I think I can dance with complexity for 3 minutes or something like that. And then as a follower, I'll kind of map out like, these kind of moves are interesting to me for this part. There's this particular hit I want to get to. And then I'll ask Stefan, how can we get there in a way that's logical? Because sometimes I come up with moves that don't actually work very well. So I'm not a leader.
I love
Elaborate.
Yeah, I think a lot of times in our routines, we kind of each take a section. I don't think we explicitly say, okay, you take this section, I'll take this section. It's not explicit like that, but it's more like we listen to the song and one of us is like, okay, this to me sounds like this, and this is the vision that I have for this part. And then the other person will just kind of help build that. And so it's like kind of every piece, one of us has a vision, and then we just kind of support it and get to something together from there.
Then we do the same video iterations we do for our general practice, where we film it and then see if it is actually cool or was just cool in our heads.
Yeah. That's a lot, actually.
Real quick, one sec here. DZ Bug, thanks for the sub. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but thank you. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's it for us.
I think we go through a very similar process. Like choreographing for routines and choreographing some of our sequences is maybe slightly different. Sometimes we'll start with mimicking people. Like we'll mimic the actual sequence just to get us going. And then we'll see if it feels okay. And then we'll see what new things we can take away from that. For choreographing routines, we kind of just do the same thing. We listen and we see what...
Yeah, usually I feel like most of our routines have come about because one of us heard a song and went, I really want to dance
like this song. Yes.
And so it's usually more, I really like this feeling, and then trying to create something that will embody that feeling, whether it's like turning or spinning or something. Yeah. It's a lot of, what do you want to do? I don't know.
What do you want to do? A lot of it also like, because I think our choreography is also pretty
productive. I told you.
Like a lot of it, I mean, I'll say sometimes I end up having maybe what do you call it? More of a voice in a lot of it, just because Kelly will is more of a curator, I guess, in our partnership as far as choreography. Because even if she doesn't have the specific idea, if I show her what I want to do, she'll be like, "No, I don't like that. No, this doesn't feel good. Let's change this. No, you can do this."
No.
And I for me, I prefer that because a lot of it, when I'm really in the moment about choreographing, there's almost too many things happening in my head, and it's like a little crazy. So I need someone to tell me, let's go in this direction, or I like this direction with you. Let's move on from there. So she has a good eye, and she knows what feels good too, because we try to make all our choreography be lead and follow. It's not just the stuff we do because it's choreographed.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I will say, some of our best stuff has come about from just messing around and also asking for help.
Well, yeah, that's true. We would never have finished probably any of our routines.
Yeah. We get a lot of help from other people. Like our 30-second showcase from 2016, there's a move in there that people still talk to me about. It's at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
Neither of us came up with that. Yeah. That came from Jack Chen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? Yeah. And same with...
there was a thing too that Juan was... We were cramming very hard for that particular case, and then we had Juan just come in and watch us rehearse for a while.
We get a lot of feedback.
We get our friends to help us along the way.
Chat is they're doing their best to distract me. They've done several subs.
Oh, nice.
So thank you, chat. Actually, they gifted you one, Andrew. So you're covered for the next month.
I need to remind myself to do the Twitch Prime thing because I do have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, well, now you can do it for somebody else this month because you've been gifted one.
Thank you. DZ Bug. Thank you.
Bug. So, yeah, I was a little distracted by that. Thank you, guys. There was like 4 or 5 subs that came in. I appreciate that. Okay, any other thoughts on choreography or anything like that? I've held you guys for long enough.
It's okay. We do this all the time anyway.
Yeah, we do this all the time.
We have nothing.
Oh, go ahead, lady.
Oh, I was just saying we have nothing to do in Seattle, so.
After this podcast is over, it's just going to be us talking.
my mom is helping us. Like my mom is at my family accountant, and they're doing our taxes. So I'm kind of like, stand by if we have any questions. So, and it's our first time. I'm married since the last time I did my taxes, so it's a little funny. But so that's why I'm doing.
Speaking of that, up in Seattle, do you guys want to just kind of give us a little overview of what you guys have been up to? As far as I know, you're teaching online. Is that something that's accessible for everybody, or is that just your local?
Yeah. So our studio is moving all of the series classes to Facebook Live. So just little 30-minute lessons. And the idea is to keep hype up, keep engagement up, and maybe get more people interested. They're a pretty big deal in the salsa community, hence Salsa con Todo, and in the Zoot community. So they have like 3,000 views on some of their lessons. So it's really working out for them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Good.
And you just plug the donation to the studio. So we're doing that. And they're also working on a Wi-Fi social through Zoom. So we'll see how that goes. We might try it.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
It is kind of rough up here. Like,
no touching.
Like, I mean, lots of grocery stores are a little kind of emptied out. I think it's a little bit overblown. It's not as empty as you would think, but it's still there. Everything is canceled.
Yeah.
And
so April 24th, and that's a conservative estimate.
Yeah.
April 24th is when the. And so, how do they? I mean, is it? It's like recommendation, or is it's like mandated? Like how do these?
Well, public schools are closed, and gatherings over 250 people
are banned. You'll get fined for it.
Yeah, and also under that, any number under that cannot follow the guidelines of people being 6 feet apart and not touching are also not allowed to run. I'm not sure how they're enforcing that, but they are, like, the guidelines are quite strict, which I think is a great idea. Kirkland Hospital is already overrun.
Yeah, if everyone socially distances now, you won't get to this level of craziness.
Yep.
Like, you have to do it now.
Yeah.
When it's not
my team rehearsals.
Like, Seattle, we're too late. That's why we're expecting all this.
In a couple weeks, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, you have to do it now.
Yeah.
That's what the Italians and the Spanish are saying as well, you know? They're like, don't be like us.
Like, don't
do it now.
Don't, yeah.
I saw a Reddit post comparing, like, the general trend of America cases versus Italian cases, and it's the curve is very close.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, we're a much larger country and much more spread out. At the same time, yeah, it's a little scary. So you know what? I'm just gonna trust on this.
Yeah, I double checked with Andrew this morning because I asked him yesterday, "Is it okay for me to come and do this?" And then this morning I was like, "Is it okay for me to come over?" And he goes, "You don't have to ask." And I said, "But still, you know, things are changing. I just want to make. If you don't want me over at your place, I totally understand."
Yeah.
I will say it's been kind of a trip watching every other city kind of go through the same grief cycle that we've seen here, where they're like, it's just the flu, and then people get angry. They're like, why are people freaking out? Why do we have to close down? Yeah. And then they get really sad and emotional. And then they finally accept it, and they're like, guys, we should cancel. And this will happen within like the span of 3 days.
Yeah.
Just seeing it over and over with everyone we know.
Yeah, break the cycle, cancel now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting because I am in like a much smaller area where like actually my wife ran into their first like denier yesterday, like in person. He's like, oh, it's just a government conspiracy. It's like,
well, it's coming for him.
Yeah, he's also an anti-vaxxer, so it's, you know, it's
even better.
Our lack of scientific education in the U.S. is really gonna bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I agree.
Yeah.
Look at it. Ellie just commented, here in Spain, we're in a government-mandated quarantine. We're not allowed out of the house except for necessary work, food, and the pharmacy.
Yeah.
I think that's very smart.
Higher rate of infection right now than Italy. But I think still fewer cases. But I think it could change in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Trombonist says it's definitely like that there. Oh, in Utah, they feel like it's a conspiracy. Is that what you're saying, Trombonist? Oh yeah, Void. So all the dance stuff everywhere is canceled. Like I don't. And if it's not canceled, I know that there's a lot of pressure from dancers to cancel it. Like like Atomic finally canceled all their stuff, right? It's like it's tough for these studios to make these decisions because it's like sometimes you're already on real thin margins. So so that said, not to end on a like super bad note, let's just like make sure that
COVID.
make sure that we are supporting our dance studios. It's super important right now to like say you're gonna spend $7 on a social dance, see if you can like total that up and buy a private lesson, like total your month's, you know, whatever it is. Like you can still buy stuff. You don't have to donate money to them. But I that's also an option. But you can buy stuff that you can use later on in the year. Like almost all of the studios that I've heard and seen go through this are offering solutions to do that.
Yeah.
So, that said, I'm going to plug real quick. On Thursday, I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start doing the online socials, just to kind of help out the community. But the idea is to get everybody dancing on the same screen, so it's still you can still kind of like see other dancers. You can go out and be social and watch people's dancing, chat. We're going to utilize Discord and Zoom for it. Discord will be playing the music, and hopefully what that means is everybody will be synced up when they're dancing on Zoom within a few milliseconds. So it might not be perfectly timed, especially with latency like from different people, but we're hoping to sync it up a lot more so everyone is actually dancing on the beat.
Maybe I'll look at them up.
So there will be a lot of experimenting and testing next week. Oh yeah, Nick Williams is giving 50% of his earnings on Patreon to Atomic, like just different things like that. But so on Thursday I'll be running that, and one of the other things is each week I'm gonna feature different dance teachers for like an open practice session. And all of the money given during that time or subscriptions given during that time will be going to those dance teachers. So, yeah, if you guys are you guys dance teachers? Is that all you do? Not all you do. Is that your main gig?
Is that all
you do? Is teach dance? Is that your main source of income for the two of you? Sorry, pointing. Stefan and Elaine. Oh yeah.
We both have full-time jobs.
Oh okay.
I'm sure. We're good.
You can give our studio money, but don't give us money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thursday might be an even bigger day than I thought, because a lot of European viewers are interested. So we might actually start at like 10 a.m. for their social dance hours.
Yeah, cool.
And then just go all day with different teachers and hosting different things. And I know Lindy Groove has their thing going on, and yeah, there's a lot to support out there.
Yeah. Jonathan will be on the Lindy Groove one this week.
Yeah.
Jonathan, is that what you said?
He's also doing a porch practice broadcast.
Oh,
yeah, he used to stream those a while ago, and I guess got busy for a while. But now I feel like he has more.
Yeah, Laura Key is doing a Balboa practice thing that starts in about an hour on Facebook. So you can look that up. Actually, I can link that in chat. Let me do that real quick here.
Yeah.
Chat, do you have any other questions for these four before I let them go?
Do you want to plug your thing?
Yeah, Andrew and I are putting together a workshop for it will be in Southern California.
When we can meet, when we can all see each other in person.
Yeah, we had it planned for April. Obviously, April is not going to do it. But eventually, we do want to put it on, it will
Yep.
be focused around fast dancing.
Yep.
Because we'd love to see people dance fast.
Yep.
So we're hoping to share some tips and tricks on stuff that's worked for us. We will be doing a speed test. So that sounded like something you were interested in. Check it out. We'll let you know when that happens.
Yeah.
Bring a towel
Great.
and a shirt.
Or two.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Justin No says yes.
Hi, Justin.
Okay, well, you guys can stick around for my plug if you want, or I can let you go. Either way, I just talk about the channel in general. But
I will be watching intently.
yes, just like you guys are placed above me on the stream, so you look down at me like, and then you guys have to look. But so the channel here, I'm not really asking for donations and stuff during COVID times. The biggest thing that I want to promote, I mean, I definitely won't turn them away, but the biggest thing that I want to promote is Amazon Prime. Like a lot of people, a lot of dancers have Amazon Prime, and part of the benefit of that is you can actually subscribe on a Twitch channel for free once a month if you have Amazon Prime. So you basically go to twitch.tv/prime. You have to link your accounts. Don't worry about security and that sort of thing because Amazon owns Twitch, which it would make sense if they had just one login, but they make it a little more difficult. But yeah, you basically link your Twitch and Amazon accounts, and then you can subscribe for free once a month, and that pays me $2.50 per subscriber. So if we can get like half of the dancers in the world that have Amazon Prime to subscribe, that would be very good for me. So just even if you're out dancing and you're like, hey, you should check out Paul Dance's channel, and if you've got Amazon Prime, like just kind of explain that process, because I'm still running into people that have not heard of that opportunity or don't know how it works. So just by word of mouth, if you can kind of get that out, and then that would be wonderful, and I would very much appreciate that. Otherwise, you can find the stream schedule at pauldances.tv, which I have to update this week, or update for this week. I think that's about it. I will be posting this to YouTube and to the website when I get a chance. Thank you guys for being my guests. This was fun. It was fun, and good to get to know, especially the two of you a little bit too. I keep pointing, Elaine and Stefan. I already know those other guys. So,
What does that mean?
I stayed with you last week, Andrew.
That's true. You've literally been on this table that we're sitting at right now.
So
yeah, thanks for having us, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. All right, best of luck with coronavirus stuff, and we'll see you. We'll see you guys on Facebook, I'm sure. So.
I'll see Elaine on Instagram. Oh, post the Tidy Whitey video or whatever.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
On it.
Fortnite video.